Okay. Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's another three-headed monster podcast coming to you live. Um, we kind of took us maybe 2 week break, 2 week vacation, um,
About three.
3 weeks maybe. Jerome went on vacation because he was celebrating his birthday, and right after Jerome comes back on his vacation, I celebrated my 10-year anniversary with my wife. Me and my family took a basically a 10 day. Actually, it was a 2 week vacation in St. Martin. So we're back. So we're done with our vacations so far. So I just want to say what's up, y'all. We about to hit it hard. We got some good topics that we're gonna be bringing to y'all. So let's Jerome, get your parental guidance out the way.
Parental guidance. What's up, everybody? What's up, Facebook family? What's up, YouTube family? As always, this is strictly our opinions based on the facts that we look up. Um, Please do not believe anything that we tell you. When you hear it, take it. Go research it for yourself. Once you find it, come back. Let's build. Let's politic. Let's go forward. So what's up, Big?
No, man. I mean, I'm just glad we get a chance to come back on. Um, Trying to do some more editing, trying to get back into the swing of things because, well, it's been a while. Sometimes we kind of forget a little bit of what we're doing and how we're doing things. But it's a topic that I wanted to get into that it's been discussed, but it's not like seriously discussed in the black community. So let me throw this video clip. Um, Again, we don't own the rights to what we're, you know, to this, so we just putting it out there. We're putting it out there, so just so we can give a baseline of what we're talking about. So let's see if I can get this thing going. And again, sorry y'all, it's been a while since we played around with this, so let's get this video going.
Tape about critical race theory. Well, the good news is you might not be racist. You might just be ignorant of what the hell CRT is. It's a legal scholarship and academic thinky talk that just tries to figure out what systems are in place that over minorities in the U.S. in subtle ways, rather than by full-on in-your-face racism. Like, is a black person unable to get a loan that a similar white person could get because the bank loan officer is a colossal sheet-wearing racist? Oh, no one is teaching this stuff to your young kids, so calm the down. It's pretty highbrow college level stuff. And if your kids go to college, they're going to definitely be exposed to this, whether you agree with it, no matter what you think, okay? So again, calm the down.
Oh. So, David, the argument here is that, yes, he's correct to a degree, but that's where the origins of CRT lay, and that now it has been disseminated and expanded, not only in concept, but also to, yes, down to kids as young as 4.
Research is pretty clear as to what parents want out of schools. They want reading, writing, and arithmetic taught. They want the students to be free of political agendas, whether that be on the left or the right. And in research that we have done, Americans would actually like to see financial literacy taught in schools. All that to say, parents want their children taught the basics to be good, productive citizens, and so much of CRT is the exact opposite.
Right, and to that end, Morgan, at least 25 public school districts in 12 states are now teaching a book called Not My Idea, a book that claims whiteness is the devil, luring children with a promise of, quote, stolen land and stolen riches.
Yeah, so I don't really know who this actor is, Emily, but I find it just a little silly that someone who's swearing and using the F bomb constantly wants to talk about what our children should be taught. Maybe he should clean that up a little. But listen, I will say what's interesting to me is how this is becoming a religion. I think the CRT theory for people who believe it, they believe it emphatically. In fact, there's almost an evangelism part of it, right? And how they're trying to spread their beliefs on this theory. I don't think there's a person in America who doesn't think that some of the most evil things in our history, like slavery, should be taught. Making sure students understand when Juneteenth is, that should be taught. I think parents around the country completely agree with that. We have to learn how we overcame the worst parts of our history and how we still have more to do. I think all reasonable parents can agree with that. We're just asking people not to target children and tell children that they're bad based on their skin color.
Right, and Harris, that's part of the argument as well, that when the defense of this is, well, we want kids to understand what honest history looks like, the rebuttal is, well, that's not honest history, right? This is sort of a gross characterization, a very extreme view that doesn't account for all of the nuances and not putting people into boxes that they don't want to be put in, or have that conversation that's much broader than that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that this is happening with another backdrop going on, the taking down of statues and erasing parts of history, but where you could put up an additional plaque to explain that person's role in history and measure the distance between then and now by progress and change, right? But we want to do what with that? We want to legislate how the words are put about history and who the bad guys and the good guys are, and not fill in the gaps of how great the moments were during and now. And do we have more to go, farther to go? Of course we do. I mean, the pandemic and healthcare have shown us that in the last year and a half, right? I mean, there are inequalities and unfortunate pockets of society where we really need to work on things. But I don't really understand how you can have all of these things going on at the same time and not respectfully ask, when do we just get to tell the truth? Why do you have to paint someone as bad based on what their historical ancestors did? I am not the same person that my great-great-great-grandmother was as a slave. And my grandmother, who died a few years ago, just shy of her 101st, who saw so much history in this country, can tell you that, yes, the best is yet to come, but there have been some great moments since then, too. Like, why can't we study all of it together? We've got a Black History Month, we've got a Hispanic Heritage Month. That's all fine if people want to do that. But I don't think kids are learning enough about American history. And for my biracial family, that matters to me. I'm sure it matters to a lot of people.
And Kaylee, part of the message there from that is that if you dare to ask questions or push back at all in the slightest, you're labeled as dumb, to use his words.
Yeah, exactly. I recognize some Democrat talking points. It's funny, it only takes, a few days and you start to realize what the DNC is probably sending out, I would imagine. You listen to what he said, it sounds an awful lot like what you're hearing from the left-wing media with MSNBC's Chris Hayes saying, Republicans have whipped us into a moral panic. Jem Acosta saying this is the latest outrage device. Don Lemon, bad faith efforts by Republicans to make critical race theory a wedge issue. And I could go on and on and on. The theme of the Democrat talking points are, we're not teaching it to young children. We are. You gave us proof of that. And it's only being taught in higher education. False, false, false. These are the Democrat talking points. Recognize them.
Wow. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Wow. Now, the reason why this is something that really bangs against me to talk about is because of it's been politicized so much. It's a
Right.
Republican Democrat thing.
Right.
Sometimes I watch Fox News just to see what they're talking about, because the news controls people's minds. The news is, if you're simple minded, if you're not strong enough minds, wise to understand who you are, you will follow. That's kind of like you will follow that lead. And the reason why was because me being in the islands, I was happened to see the CPAC that they was doing, and that was everybody's talking point,
Right.
and it bothered me because I'm like, well, what the hell y'all been teaching us then?
Exactly.
Because I know, I know I might have been out of high school for over 25 years, but we didn't go to school teaching about slavery.
You
A
know.
lot of us was taught what slavery was, or what what bad have we heard in our history that me and you went to school. What bad did we hear about America? Because you don't hear any. So how can you say you're telling the truth when you're not really telling the truth? But I'm gonna let you bang on
Right.
that one. Jump on in there.
Nah. I mean, there's a lot to unpack with just that video. Um, when you talk about what has been taught, like the perspective of race in America, as we have been taught, we hadn't been taught a perspective, other than blacks were subordinate, and whites built this country.
Hmm.
That's what you were taught in school, and that was further from the truth than a lot of people are willing uh, to give back up. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about critical race theory, um, she talked about it being now a religion. They're trying to demonize it. Before there can be some actual discussion. Where we can sit at the table and actually discuss some of this theory. You call it
But see,
theory.
that's
You
I
call it
think that's
fact.
the part that bothers me because they don't want the real history out now. And I know it's something that me and you both dedicated, you know, from now on, that's what we're gonna put out is real history. And we're gonna back up what we put out when it comes to this, real real history. But and I learned a lot by studying, especially studying the beginning of the United States or the beginning of the 13 colonies, especially when it comes to the Virginia, company coming in and all of a sudden Virginia itself and
Right.
the monstrosity they have done as a towards the people. Um, I don't like it that all of a sudden we don't want to teach the bad part about American history. It's the fact is, what have you taught that's true?
Right.
What have you taught? You label us as lazy. You label us as as a people, indigenous people, people that did come here on this. You taught us that everybody came here that's of color came here on a slave ship.
Right.
You told us everybody, and we can prove that's wrong.
True.
You you,
I,
you want to
I got a question.
go ahead? I know you want to go ahead.
I'm now the
Hmm.
black lady, or who we classify as black, that spoke, and
Yeah.
when she said that all 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 of history has not been being taught, just the bad parts. So during the period of slavery, humans being enslaved, beat, raped, sodomized, burned, hanged, even after being freed, still being lynched, still being marginalized, still being redlined. What's the good history? What part did I miss during that? What what's being left out?
I think that's the part that's being left out is good history from what we have been taught, um, or the positive. So is who perspective are you looking at from? Are you looking at from the conqueror, or the that's being conquered. Now,
I think
we looking
I
at it in the point of the people has been conquered.
right. I think I think she
Am I right or
gave
wrong?
yeah. Right. I think she gave away at the end, her perspective when she says me being in a biracial family. So obviously she didn't look like she was biracial. So it had to be who she was married to. So being that she has a split house, if you will, of
Mhm.
course she can't go all out. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, because I mean, I understand. And again, we're giving y'all our opinion on this. So, the whole slavery situation, I mean, if we break it down, it's going to be not what we've been taught that it was.
Of course.
Um, Again, it's no way in hell possible during this time frame that you can ship 25 million people on anything. Period. We
No.
showed you, if you go back and look at some of our past episodes that we have done, the research that we put in, we we showed you the Indian Removal Act of 1835 and the dangers and what they did to our ancestors. We have proven time after time that you enslaved the people that was already here. Now, we can prove that you, the people that we consider Indians as today, are not the true people that we consider Native Americans or indigenous people. So, as you grow into studying this, you lose the word black, you lose the word Negro, and you damn sure throw away that trash word African American. I know for me,
Right.
because now once you start to learn who you truly are and where you're from, you kind of start looking at the notion as we are here. We are as a people. We will just happen to be prisoners of war because you have to understand the 13th Amendment never abolished slavery. It never got rid of slavery. You can still become a slave by committing an act, a criminal act according to their laws. So now you have to understand that we just celebrated, or this country just celebrated Independence Day, 1776,
Right.
but never had their first president until 1789.
Right.
But
Go ahead.
again, you say who they have their independence from, and you will say they get their independence from the Britons. But nobody never explained to you why. They'll say, oh, they didn't want to pay the taxes. But they won't tell you the truth about why the British told them, or the laws that the Brits had put in here. It's an agreement they already had with the natives of this particular country, this native land. And the people of the United States of the 13 colonies, they went against it. So again, we go to war. Now, we all keep thinking that we got our independence from England. Here or there, no. My opinion is England is still in control. We just not under the English flag. We still have the same colors. We're just under a different land. But the truth about the Civil War, Lincoln, not true. What we've been taught. The Emancipation Proclamation and what he put out there, making us thinking that we're free, not true. Or
Right.
the reasons why he put that out there, Everybody keep thinking Lincoln was for ending slavery. Not true. Actually, it was another Fox part that I wanted to play, but I'm like, I can only take but so much. That they say our forefathers was against slavery. So why did they have slaves?
Right.
You read the Constitution. A person of color is 3/5 of a person. But again, you teach the Constitution, you're already showing the ugliness of who we are. Most people would think that. I know I'm rambling. I'm rambling. I'm sorry. Jump in there, man, because I get to going.
Oh,
Um,
I was, now you good. I was reading over something, but actually, when we talk about the 3/4 or 3/5 of a person, that was done just for voting rights, because you could count your slaves or the people that worked for you during the voting time, and because there were so many blacks, that you could sway votes, so they would only
mhm.
count 3/5 of a vote.
Like today.
So we still we still sway elections, of course, and they just trying to find ways to take away our voting rights. But when you were talking about, I think a lot of people didn't understand the United States at this time too. Uh, when when and we'll term it as slavery was going on, there was a lot of rebellions. There was a
A
lot of
lot.
movement. There was a lot of it just wasn't everybody was in the cotton field singing and being happy. There was a lot of there was a lot of tension. There was a lot of rebellion. There was a lot of killing going on, and so it was hard to keep a free people um, enslaved. So it's a whole lot we don't understand.
And I mean, I like what you said when you were saying a lot of we fought. Um, the Gilly Wars is a prime example. I mean, we hear about Nat Turner, and that's in Virginia. It was more you know revolutions that was constantly going on. So we are people that's constantly fighting, constantly pushing back. But from what we talk, because we from the South, we from South Carolina, you from North Carolina, but we're what 45 minutes, but approximately what 30 miles apart from each other, because we both right there on the border. So
Yeah,
you know, we can show you. I mean, all they just don't want to. From what I'm reading, because nobody can tell me what critical race theory is.
right,
Period. Nobody
right,
can give you a definite answer what it is. Because it's kind of funny. It's like, well, where the hell did this shit come from? It just popped up out of nowhere,
exactly,
But they don't want to show you how bad they have tried their best to hold us people back, and we constantly keep coming. Um, One thing I do like about us as a people is we don't give up. We don't quit fighting. We might find different ways of fighting, but we just don't accept what they give us. We want more.
right. I think
Basically, we
too,
want our stolen land back. Go
right.
ahead.
I think too, like when you say it popped up out of nowhere, because that's. I think the very first time that you mentioned it to me, I was like, "What? What?" Like I hadn't even heard of it. Um, and I think to me, I always, if something has been uh, put on the mainstream, I'm always weary of it. Because if they are pushing it on the mainstream, even if it seems like they're opposing it, I think because once everybody starts to understand it, get into it, that's when they can control the narrative of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got critical race theory. Then they said, well, we don't want it taught this way, but if you do it this way, we'll let you, we'll let you do it. So, I mean, it's just like, to me, when it goes mainstream, that's more than us just pushing it because we don't own any media. So, how are we pushing this theory across the media?
Yeah, it was interesting. Um, says this Withrow Wallace Wesley. Am I saying it right? Because I know I butchered people's names. I butcher people's names
Oh,
hard.
yeah, yeah. Mr. Wesley, yeah.
All right, so let me just pop up what they say critical race theory is. All right, so it's a body of legislative scholarship and academic movement of the civil rights scholars and academics of the United States that seek to critically examine U.S. laws and its intersects with the issues of race in the United States and the challenge of mainstream America liberal approach to racial justice. See, it is funny though. You can have the 8 reasons why it's a problem. It's a problem to a certain person, but the
Right.
thing is, approach to justice, racial justice.
You know
But
what?
then, go ahead.
Before you get into that, something interesting that they said, when I was listening to the video, it says that you
Uh-huh.
can't really blame our ancestors for
Hmm.
how, or you can't blame us for how our ancestors acted, right?
Yeah.
Well, my thing is, um, no, that would be unfair to say that you're just like your ancestors, but it is still unfair that you are allowed to profit from what your ancestors done to my ancestors. And there's not been any um, equaling of the field. Um, you got
Hmm.
tremendous profit and tremendous uh, uh, collateral capital businesses off the backs of our ancestors from the blood of our ancestors. Um,
Hmm.
but you don't want to take any of the blame, but you don't want to give back any of the stolen goods either.
Ooh.
So
Because I
you
know,
can't
because
have it. Can't have it both ways.
and I think what sparked it was people learning about the Tulsa massacre, and
Yeah.
you know especially if Tulsa massacre is just one part of what the ugliness that they have
Oh
done
yeah.
is
Oh, many.
numberous, many massacres. And again, we showed you the map. Please go back and look at that episode that we did. And like I said, we try to show maps of a lot of the massacres that basically did happen. And again, that doesn't. And I mean, for this to be 100 years of since the Tulsa massacre happened, a lot of people never knew about it, especially the people that was born and raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So something else. Let me see, let me show you what the Negro Act of 1740. Let me pull
Yeah.
that one up. This man just dropping. He just dropping bombs today. Appreciate you being on, my, brother Wesley. Thank you for tuning into our channel. So let me pull up one of the things that he put in there. So on May 10th, 1740, the South Carolina Assembly impact a bill for the better order of governing the of Negroes and other slaves in the province, also known as the Negro Act, which prohibits enslaved African people to grow their own food, learn to read, move freely, and assemble groups or earn money. Damn.
Yeah. Slave codes, man. they didn't want you coming back together to create anything that was cultural, anything that was economic, anything that could move you on a level playing field.
Dude, that's where I'm from. It's South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? And it's deep when you see so many indigenous people that has been stolen from. I mean, even when we go to the Freeman banks and how much money that the government stole. So they constantly keep taking away from us.
Right,
Every time we make a step forward, they try to knock us back.
right.
So what is again when we had the orange dude trying to run and talking about make America great again, and whose eyes are you saying it was great? And what period can you agree that? I mean, because I know a lot of people not happy with the choice that we have as presidents. I didn't like the two choices that we had as presidents because neither one of them is going to benefit the indigenous people of this land. You know, so now we looking at it as we fighting two evils that's still trying to find a way to hold us back. You say, Mr. Orange Man, you know, are they going to still teach that this particular election was stolen? Is that something that you're going to teach your kids? But I mean,
No, it's not factual.
but
How
I
you
mean,
gonna
but
teach
at the
me?
same time, that's something that they pushing, is it not? Well, I mean, what the hell? We're in July and they still talking about it. They keep still talking about this dude that's going to be in power. But
That's called
again,
propaganda.
but who's running the narrative? Because I mean, we just had an insurrection that happened, and are they going to talk about this June? Not January 6th. Are they going to put this in the history books? It has to be because that's no different than when you talking about 1812, the War of 1812, when they burned the White House down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
True
what
indeed.
part of history do they want to trigger? Or they'll say, oh, the civil rights movement of the 16th of 1965, but not knowing that's the third civil rights bill that was put out for.
It was actually a
We already
hundred
had
years.
we already had the
That was
right
a
to
hundred
vote.
years. That was 100 years after the first one drafted.
Yeah, so we already had the right to vote with the 14th Amendment,
True.
and we going back. I mean, what are we looking at? 1860s,
Right.
1870s. You know, so while we wait until we get to the 1960s, and we still fighting for the right to vote when we already had once we joined the group with the 14th Amendment to say, okay, we're not indigenous people no more. We're American citizens of the United States. We gave up that right of who we were. We gave up our land. We want our shit back. Now it's a problem because we supposed to have been getting 40 acres in a mule. We
Now
can't
that
get.
was never gonna happen.
No. Now this what if Lincoln didn't die? What if Lincoln did not die? What would be? Because if he put it out there, you know, honest Abe, a man that never can tell a lie.
Well, I mean, if you do 40 acres and a mule for at that time, let's say it was 25 million indigenous uh, Americans or Black Americans, however you classify. It, Uh, that's still uh, the surface area of half the United States. So there's no way they would have done that.
Because
40
this land will
acres
be
and a
ours.
mule, present day, is the whole United States.
Mm. So
So
it gets,
land wise,
but it gets to the funny part when we talk about reparations or it's
right?
been discussed. But then at the same time, we watch the people in other countries get reparations. We
Right.
watch the Jewish people in East Germany get reparations. We watch the Japanese Americans that was here get reparations.
Yeah.
Um,
But you talking about an imperial number or a monetary number, right? It's
yeah.
going to another country. It's not
Mm,
like so. If you actually gave reparation to um, the indigenous Black Americans that are here, that money
yeah.
would stay inside of the United States and would be able to be controlled inside of the United States. So it could control policies if used correctly. You know, it can control an economic uprising, if you will. So they're not gonna weaponize you. Not in not in not in this country.
I know because I mean the history that they teach us now is straight garbage. It's 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 not true history. So now when we get back to it, oh boy, now we got Rustin jumped in here. It makes you wonder. We as a people need to teach our own kids to write the true history and stop relying on the school system because the school system is teaching us how to be drones. It's teaching us how to be, you know,
Russell,
workers.
Russell, Russell. If there were 3 million black people in the United States in 1860, and now there's 50 million, that's an exponential jump. But they always tell you you've always been 12% of the population. Um,
Lies.
yeah, because when was was slavery ended in England, and I think 1832. So
Yeah, some around there.
they wasn't bringing African Americans or Africans over. Uh, Slavery ended in the United States in 1865.
Damn, brother
So
West dropping. He just, this dude is dropping bombs today. Let me go ahead and let me show what he just put up. Majority of plantation made slavery were introduced and allowed in some people communities called Negroes, Indians, mulattoes, having been diminished through slavery and subject to the property that in the hand of actual people and extended to power as such. Slaves ought to be settled and limited to positive law, so the slaves may be kept due to
subjugation.
subjugation and obedience into the owners of the land. Wow. All right, man. This dude is. What what do you do with that? Because now it's. I mean, and then Ross is saying 3 million in the South. Again, I'm glad you went back and changed it in the South. Now you got to understand that that was still. Don't forget, we already have the Trail of Tears. Um, a lot of our ancestors, which was pushed down. So everybody have to understand, and we're gonna get to it. We're gonna start showing you these Indian, this colonial wars that was going on, and it started from basically from New York and just move your way down. So you keep pushing, people down, push people down south, push people down south. Everybody have to understand that Cherokee Nation is a bunch of nations into one. English
But
speaking
people,
people.
yeah,
So, and my ancestors, actually on my dad's side, they are Cherokee. Actually, they are basically full blooded Cherokee. Um, so we kind of get everybody basically has Indian in their family because your grandmother or your grandfather was part of one of these tribes. And that's something that we has to understand. That's the history that they didn't want you to know is we all came on a slave ship. Now you'll go back and it's like, hey, everybody go check your DNA. So they can tell you that you're from sub-Saharan or anywhere
So,
middle
sub-Saharan.
sub-Saharan. Yeah. Because I know if I put in this,
Most people are not sub-Saharan though. They're like West African. Some are, and then now they're starting to do more Central Africa, like Nigeria. But but if you study the history of Africa, there's always been migration. The people that they're in Nigeria, they probably haven't been there more than 500 years. But
whoa, wait a minute, Russell. I got to put this up there. As always, I can't agree with you on that. I cannot agree with you on that. And the reason why I say I can't agree with you on that, if you don't know what a group of people are, how can tell them what they are? Because if you was to go see my grandmother, who is very, I wish I can pull up a picture of her. I don't have it on my computer. You would think that she was a white woman. And she'll tell you flat out that she's black and she's native. But that's something that if you was to go and take a census, the census was basically spying on the people because they're scared that everybody is going to rebel. I need an accurate count. How can you go and get an accurate count of everybody in that particular country at that particular time? It's never going to happen. That's why they do the census now. I need to see how many people I need to tax. I need to know how I divide this money up. So census is biased as shit. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong. I might be right. But a lot of us have very light skinned people that's in their family. On my dad's side, I am one of the darkest. So, you know, but again, they went by your color of your skin. So the census was inaccurate as hell anyway. You couldn't tell a person that was Indian, native. You couldn't tell them they was mulatto. You couldn't even tell if they was white. You just have to go with what opinion that person who was doing the census was actually giving it out. So if I was giving out census, you only going by what my eyes see and my eyes say. That's why when you go check the census, a lot of people last names are spelled wrong because I can tell you how to say my name. If I don't know how to spell it, I don't know how to spell it. So what do? You're gonna spell it the best way you hear me say it. So we can't go by the census. The census is not is biased and it's not 100% accurate. Just like your DNA is, take a DNA test. It's not fucking accurate. Go ahead, Jerome.
I was trying to look through the comments. We got we got some good comments going back and forth.
I know. I mean, I appreciate the attention everybody giving us to. I definitely.
We might need to get them two on.
You know what? Fuck it. If they want to be on, I can send you the link and then we can keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want us to be in a debate. I want us to be collectively trying to build. This is a channel that we dedicated now to just build. Come to understand because you might know something I don't know. I damn sure don't know everything.
Right.
So we if you educate me, because I'm constantly learning different things. Go ahead.
There's 2 points. One point that Brother Wallace is making about free men being counted. That's true. They were not counted the same. And the point that
Russell.
Russ is making about reparations being given to slave owners, which is very true. Because um, the English were the first to get reparations when they ended slavery. They got reparations for the land that they owned over here and what they lost in Europe. So, so that's very true about reparations.
And yes, critical race theory is a distraction. Yeah. I don't even know what the fuck. I don't even understand why this became a big situation because in the black community, it's kind of like, we're going to tell you our truth anyway.
Yeah,
It's,
we've always known the truth. But like I told you, anytime that the mainstream is driving a point, they
it's,
want to control the narrative. And it's something for them. It's because race is getting ready to pop. And what I mean by pop, like you said, the Juneteenth stuff, the Tulsa riots. You know, the more of more history is being talked about on a regular. So you have to control the narrative in some form or fashion.
you know, the funny part about it is, I didn't hear about Juneteenth until I moved to Philly.
Really,
Yeah, because they was having a Juneteenth celebration. I said, "What the fuck is Juneteenth?"
right?
Like, it was like when we freed, when black slaves were free, and I'm like, that's a thing, So I didn't really pay the attention. It's a celebration in Philly. We celebrate every damn thing. So you go and you jump into the mixture of the culture, and you kind of not. And this is when I was not educating myself. In other words, I stopped letting other people tell me what's what. Excuse me. I started educating myself. And when you start educating yourself, that means I had to open up books and read. So when I really understand what Juneteenth was, I have mixed feelings about it because we're free from what? We're free from slavery, but then we're not free from Jim Crow.
No, you wasn't free from the slave laws. You wasn't free from Jim Crows. You wasn't free from sundowner laws. You wasn't free from lynching. Nah,
I mean, what was segregation about? That's I guess that's why when it comes to this critical race theory is you don't want to teach the bad part about history. The '60s showed you how much hatred that they had towards us as a people,
the
and
'60s.
that's the '60s.
That's in the '60s.
No, 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 no. I mean that kind of captured a lot of people's eyes of how
You know why?
the South was.
You know why? Television.
Why?
Television. People got to see it mainstream, not just in America. They got to see it around the world. You know, the
Uh,
1960 protests, Watts burning, all these cities burning at that time, was seen around the world. That's what sparked South Africa to start fighting apartheid, is what they saw us do, or what they seen going on in the 60s in the United States. Television. That's why the cell phone
now
has
we.
changed the way um, uh, we police people.
Mm, I see Russell said the last time we was somebody going to Mars. I think if they
Nah,
go to Mars,
somebody
though,
else.
they're gonna be surprised. I think they're gonna be surprised. They go to Mars, they're gonna be surprised that they're gonna find some stuff there, and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck? They everywhere?" But
They
that's a
already,
little bit too deep for some people. Cause
they already been to Mars, man.
I who been to Mars?
All right. I'm telling you, they already been
They
to
go
Mars.
see. They go see. They gonna see some 8 foot, Afro brothers coming on. Hey, I'm telling y'all, they asking for a lot of stuff that they don't want to date. Go ahead and run. But at the same time, why would you? Why would you want to go somewhere? Why would you want to go to another planet? because I think the fear of us taking our rightful place as the guardians of this planet is coming. They know something that we all know within ourselves,
I
but
mean,
at the
they know
same time,
something. They know something that we know too. I mean, just look up
no, not
Mendel's
all of
law.
us. All
Listen. Look up Mendel's
a
law.
lot of us know though. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Look
Go
up
ahead.
Mendel's law, and you'll understand what they know. I mean, at some point, um, nature always wins, right? So
Hmm.
if you go to another planet and you just take certain species, then that species will be dominant. But here on Earth, Mendel's law, that's what I mean. You can't trump nature. Let me just say that. MEND
It's M-E? I'm doing M-I. M-E what? What?
MENDEL. Mendel's law. Mendel's law. I had to drink off screen because they're not giving us any promotional props.
I hope this is right, dude. I hope this. All right. Hopefully, this is what you asked. Is this it? Because I hope I spelled it right.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I don't know how they got it dressed up, but what it talks about is the dominance of genes. Um, recessive genes, dominant genes. Recessive genes will always pass away to dominant genes. On this earth, dark hair, dark skin, dark eyes are dominant. That's all I gotta say.
I'm trying to get to that part where you're talking about.
He done experiments on plants, but he described
Mhm.
it for humans. Dominant genes are always going to be dominant.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to get into that. I'm gonna have to jump into that. All right. You gave me some. You gave me some. You gave me some homework to do. You gave me
All
some
right.
homework to do. So
That's,
again, we celebrate the 4th of July, but not understanding why we're celebrating the 4th of July. Because most black
I
people
think
say,
I think people understand why they celebrate. They just think that they were free too. They think it was
"But we wasn't free during
Independence
that
Day.
period of time."
No, I'm saying they
But
think
we wasn't.
Independence Day for independence for everybody, but it wasn't. Of course,
Mm,
as Thomas Jefferson was penning the Constitution of the United States, he had his slave bring him some lemonade and a bologna sandwich. That's what happened on Independence Day.
yeah, back in the day, the bologna
They
sandwich
get
was
too
good as
much
shit.
ice in the water. Huh?
I said back in the day, a bologna sandwich was a good ass fucking meal, bro. I can't even eat bologna right now. That's a big
Well, I
fly.
mean,
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. We go off topic, but I'm telling you, dude, we try to make it funny. But a fried bologna sandwich, dude, might probably be on point right now. Oh no! Did he put down? Wait a minute now. This yes, yes.
that's why they're making
Everybody,
that play. Who made
nope.
the play?
But at the same time, they don't want to show because, like, everybody keep thinking George Washington, is the first, United States president. But then again, I say if this country was independent at 1776, who the hell ran it for the first 13 years?
Right. Well,
That's a whole
yeah,
no. I know that's a whole nother topic.
yeah, but
But
I'm saying that's before they changed governments, right? Before
true.
they went under the Constitution, they had a different charter, that they were under. And that charter, the presidency revolved every year. That
True.
was a different president every year.
Hmm.
During that time, that the Europeans that were here that wanted to be free from the tyranny of England, they actually wanted to make George Washington a dictator, make him king. If you look at any of the statues in Washington and look how they depict it, you know, but that's another thing, right?
Yeah, because I mean, especially him being a general, him writing a letter to the Morocco, him showing everybody that he is a Mason or Freemason.
They all were in the Masonic order,
This country, which this country is built on,
right? I
but a
mean,
lot of people,
everything's on the square. You've been to Washington, right?
yeah,
Everything's built on the square.
everything is built on the square. Everything is in a different order. So a lot of people have to understand. Yeah, John Henson was president of the first Article of Confederation, but at the same time, they won't tell you what color he is.
But I'm saying you didn't even who knew about the that order of confederation though?
Nobody
Who
even
knew
knew
about
there was
the
an
order?
Article of Confederation.
That's what I'm saying. And they rotated presidents every year. Who knew that? They don't teach that in school, you know. So
So everybody just have to
I,
understand that I actually we need to find out when was the Constitution literally actually put into play. Because I know they said that freedom was July 4th, 1776. Again, the first president of the United States is going to George Washington, and then he comes into 1789, 1786. Baby, leave me alone. Now my wife wants to throw some comments in here, you know. So
oh, he was president until yeah.
wait a minute. So I was no, wait a minute. No, I thought it was 13 years. It was 1789. No, I thought he became president. Yeah, he became president in 1789. What do you mean 1786? What was you talking about? Look it up. What? Oh, because you. Oh my God. And also, I want to congratulate my wife. She is considered now. No, she's not. Never mind. Drop it. Who taught the English? Who taught the Europeans what the Confederacy was? Yeah,
Well,
we did. They learned it off of us.
congratulations.
You have to learn
Tell
your
her,
enemy.
hey, tell her congratulations. Never mind.
It's something else, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Man, a lot of times my wife don't like any of her, Thank you, Jerome.
Yeah,
So
but yeah, this Mr. Wallace is very correct. They had no idea of these confederacies.
they had no idea of government because if you go back and you look at how the English government is ran, it is not ran like us. So there's no way in hell you telling me you're gonna send people over here and they just made this own government up by themselves? No, they learned it
I
from
mean,
us.
dude, these cats is dropping bombs in the comments.
Man, I don't. Where y'all been in my life?
But that is true. It was built on more so than Roman law. It's built on um, Egyptian law, um, and from the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh, what you've been taught, like he sits alone, but that wasn't it. It was the Pharaoh. It was just like Congress. They had all that passed on. The Romans or the Romans learned it from them. Well, the Greeks, then the Romans. But Roman law actually is still, in effect. When you go to court, do they not speak in Latin?
Everything is in Latin.
That's what I'm saying.
The seal is
Even
still in Latin.
even when you sell something, right? You got to have this barcode. So the system of barcoding, just the system of it, that's what was done by the Romans, because when the Romans would trade in other countries, they wanted to be equal value. So you had to do it under the Roman
Hmm.
standard. That's what the barcode is all about.
Hey, wait a minute. Are we teaching critical race theories? That's what we're doing right now. We're not doing that right now because
Oh,
it
my bad.
depends. No, 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 no. But I'm just saying, just to point out,
Yeah.
is it? Is it not that? Is it that? What it? In other words, this is some BS. You know, some because I mean, once your kids get to college, they're gonna teach them another version of it. And it's funny that you have history teachers that don't know history.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm?
No, they just
So
regurgitate
you
what
got
they've
people
been
that's
taught.
dedicated saying, "Oh
My
yes, I
bad,
learned. Oh, I
Russell.
have
My
a
bad, Russell. Russell. I am not going that deep. I'm just trying to stay surface with it, baby. Trying to stay surface.
these dudes is going in, man.
Of course.
We
But
ain't trying to dig, man. We try not to dig, man. We not. The system of the law has always been always yes, that is true. Let's see what the rest. Yes, and I think that's where it ends. And it's surprising because it's kind of like, is it unraveling in front of us and we just too ignorant or too blind to even see it? And you see what I'm
what
saying?
is what unraveling?
How white supremacy is cracking.
It's been cracking. We just didn't know how to bust it up a little more. You know what I'm saying? Because here's what I know about power, right?
Hmm.
Because power is something that is given. If I'm a big dude and you're a little dude, and I run up on you and I say, "Give me your snack cakes," right? And if you say, "No,
Hmm.
I'm not giving you my snack cakes," even though you're smaller than I am, I have no power over you. Now there may
Facts.
be a strength, there may be a strength difference, but there's no power
Hmm.
difference, right? And see, when
Hmm.
we wake up and figure out that we gave away our power because we still have all the strength, that's what they're scared of now. Is us waking up to stop giving our power away and understanding our strength.
Oh, my wife wanted to drop some information. It said American first Constitution, the Articles of Confederacy, was ratified in 1781, a time when the nation was losing confederacy of states, each operated like an independent country, which they do today.
Right,
Everybody have to understand that we're the United States. Each state
right.
is governed by this own, they do their own governing, but they happen to
They
be
have a
under one
governor.
flag.
They have a
Yeah,
governor.
yeah. So basically, each state is its own nations. But in other words, I can cross. I mean, I'm in Pennsylvania doing this coronavirus. Prime example. I couldn't cross over into Jersey. I can get to Jersey. I can cross the Jersey Bridge in less than 5 minutes. That's how close I am to Jersey. But by law, by New Jersey law, I can't cross. If I did cross, I had to have a piece of paper saying that I actually worked in New Jersey for me to cross into New Jersey. So again, everybody have to understand different states have different laws. So you know, in other words, I have a right to carry my I have the right to carry my weapon doing Pennsylvania laws. Let my ass step in Jersey. Jerseys don't recognize that. So if I was to walk in with my handgun in the Jersey, that's automatic 2.5 years, no matter what, because that's their law. So everybody have to understand they're governed. Everybody's governed different. We just happen to be so uneducated to understanding each state is what it is. And then let me finish what she said. In 1776, Alexander Hamilton, a lawyer of political, God damn, in New York City, called the Constitution Convention to discuss the matters. So back to Alexander Hamilton and him bringing forth the Constitution. Other than that, state laws. I mean, again, people have to understand. I don't, I know a lot of people might be from different areas. You couldn't cross state. You couldn't cross state lines. Literally, you couldn't. So if they wanted to put martial law in one state, if your ass crossed over into that, you're in trouble. So I feel like eventually we're heading that way and not understanding. Or, for instance, the orange being, look what states he can go into and look what states he can't go into. Now is Democrat and is Republican. He won't step into a Democratic state because he's gonna have some problems. So you're understanding that, for instance, you see these indictments is coming his way. But if the governor of Florida won't let that happen, you can't go into Florida and go arrest this dude. So it's interesting seeing he exposed the government, but it backfired on him. That's my opinion. Yeah,
I
appreciate
got you.
what you did, but
I
it
see.
backfired on you. You took it, but all right. Told you these dudes is going in, man. These dudes is
I
going
see.
in.
I see what you're saying about white. There's no such thing as white, and that's correct. White is a state in law. Black is a state in law. You know, as with any color, it's a description. It's not a proper noun. It doesn't describe a people.
It doesn't. That's why it kind of hurts when I'm a black man. I'm a black man, but then black means nothing. Black has no power. You know, white people will say I'm Caucasian, but you don't see, they consider themselves white. You don't even see that on the thing no more when it comes to race. Race is just a division anyway.
I
But
mean,
it's
yeah,
melanated people and non-melanated people. But that's a whole different ball game because they want to be black, and that's the
yeah,
funny thing.
that's
Is, as much
yeah,
as they hate us,
socially
they want to be.
economic, social economics. It's a it's a like it's a status. It's a status in law. That's what it is. But we choose to call ourselves whatever you accept. That's what you are.
Let's see what Ross. Well, anybody can read black and white. Depends on that. Actually, black and white. I mean, I know we as me and Drone is above that notion of using if you even get the Black Laws Dictionary, black means nothing. Black has no power, no nothing. That's why we basically get no rights, because you getting rights for who? What under what you stand under? You know what I'm saying? So as black people, that's it holds nothing.
I
It's
see
just
you.
like you got a bucket with a bunch of hole in it and you add the whole water.
Right. I see you, Russell. But the thing is, Russell, people don't understand the measurement of time. Time is not a thing. Time is just a measurement. When you take A to B, and the distance between A and B is time, right? So people
Hmm.
don't have, they have no idea how long we've been on this earth. They have no idea how long this earth has been here. Um, the transition of power, yeah, is very extremely recent. Um,
Basically,
so
since the 1400s.
extremely recent, and I don't, that's another episode right there.
Dude, we'll be here
Because
till like midnight still talking about it.
yeah, I'm saying
Because
because
if
we got
I
to
was
think,
grown talk
why
about,
was power why was power given away? That's one of the most intriguing questions that could be ever could be discussed. Is why was our power given away?
true.
Now, you know what? I agree. Well, I agree with some of the things that's in there, Russ. A trillion years is an extremely
That's
long
a lot.
time. I
That's a
mean,
lot.
it's not even
But at the same time,
not. But
we
if it
measure
is a
time
trillion,
differently.
but if it was a trillion, using our standards of time now, if it was a trillion years, you know, we're we should be far more advanced. Uh, if it
I
was a
think we
trillion
were.
years, we probably
I
left
think we
here,
were.
and we the remnants of the leftovers.
That's really, I mean, but everybody have to understand the way we measure time now is not what we measure time. I mean, what we started over when the Romans took over, so we going by the Roman Greco time frame. Am I right?
Oh, the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, we're going.
The Gregorian calendar and the calendar that was previous to it. There's not a whole lot of difference to it, but it's a lot of difference in the Hebrew calendar. Um, but time
We
being
don't know
measured
what time
by
we they measure time differently.
time being measured by a cycle of the sun, you know,
Yes,
and that's been for the last 26,000 years at least has been consistent.
that is true. They make their living off of telling us a lot of stuff because it's a distraction to keep us from the power that who we are. If you go back and tell a lot of the people that we majority of us are indigenous and this is we are the true people of this land, they know we're going to revolt. So you will have a bunch of people of color argue you down. No, dude, we from Africa. Because think about in the '90s. What were we? We was you know the fight the power era. Think about hip hop. It was all about going back to Africa. You have the Marcus Garvey movement. Everybody going back to Africa. Um, so
Mayans,
it
Olmecs.
switched. So it's kind of funny, like who did I mean? We was told we from Africa, and that's how it's been. I mean, that's the sad part about it. I mean, we proved that the first African slaves didn't come into America until what 1619, but they was already here invading, taking over land. So
Well,
It's no way in hell
I mean, they
uh,
were here with the indigenous people. You know,
yeah.
I mean, for thousands of years, man.
You have to
It's
learn. You have
always
to learn
been
your enemy
trade.
to take over.
There's always been trade. excuse me, with this continent and the other continent. We've always traded for thousands and thousands upon thousands of years. It wasn't until the Europeans changed the narrative, you know, always wanting to sit on top as being superior.
That is true, and I don't know. I have to. I don't. It's a comment I want to make, but at the same time, I want to be accurate behind my comments. But I'm gonna leave that for a later time because this. I'm constantly doing research because listening to Honorable Minister Farrakhan and Elijah Muhammad and how we created the people of color. I mean, the white race, and when they go to Ubako, nah, what's it? God damn, that's why I said it because I didn't get the name of how
Yaku,
you know, yeah, or how
Yaku,
people Yaku. That's the name I wanted to say, Yaku,
the
and
big-headed
understanding,
scientist.
saying that the white race is created through that, or the Caucasus Mountains of they losing their pigmentation or losing their melanin color because of you adapt to the surroundings of whatever. So it's a
I
lot
mean,
about history and it's a lot about science that we don't know,
that's
but
true.
they're not going to tell
But
you.
I mean, it's funny. I wish I had. I got to get my notes in front of me because I got some geneticists
Wait a minute.
that
Whoa, whoa,
actually.
whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What's up?
John Smith wrote 20 and Negroes, not African. That is true. That is true. But I didn't say Africans. I just said slaves. The ones that came on a slave ship. So you're right. They never said. But at the same time, I guess when they said they found, and actually it was, they didn't bring them over here. They actually found that ship. It was an abandoned ship and you had these people on it. But at the same time, they only had 20 people. But then you got it, oh, they had 300 on one ship. You can't do
Not
that
at that time.
on a sailboat, on a fucking sailboat that depended on wind. You can't transport people like that. It'll take you a lifetime to get over here. It'll take you 90 days to do that. So you had that much supplies. That means your ship was big. That means you had to have enough supplies for the people on the cargo, and plus the smell. That means the feces, because how is these people using the bathroom? So
In
that's why you
pots.
had the island hop. You had the island hop. So no, you can't transport that many people into a country. And then these people in this country learn how to work the land. Seriously, seriously. So you telling me you brought people over here that didn't do none of this, didn't know nothing about the land here because this land is totally different than it is in Africa, and they came over here and worked the land, worked it as a genius, worked it as a system. You, they built everything that we built these houses.
Yeah,
All
but
of a sudden,
you gotta look at it from this perspective. So here,
man, I'm tired of
Europeans come from the New World, right? And
facts.
so they come from they come to the New World, and they bring these slaves uh, from Africa, a totally different land, totally different kind of ground, and they suddenly um, had plantations. No, where'd they get these seeds from? You know, where'd they get this? Where'd they get all this equipment from to suddenly have plantations? And now they have tobacco plantations, cotton plantations, rice plantations in a matter of 50 years. How? That's borderline miraculous. If they were that good, they should have stayed in Europe because Europe was dying.
They fucking, they're super
So
geniuses.
yeah, they should have stayed over there. Um, but but those from what we call the African continent and to what we call the North American continent have been doing business and travel and trade for maybe 200,000 years. I mean, so
Facts.
those trade routes have always been there. There's maps uh, of the Atlantic Ocean that are old. You know, there's you can look in temples in Africa and find maps of the Mississippi River that are 4 or 5 thousand years old. People think
Mm.
that globes were new. Man, they had globes in the 1400s
Before Columbus even shipped, before he even
before
set sail, they already had a map of
before he
America.
was born. Before he was born, they had that. So I mean, thi- I mean,
He knew where he was going. He knew where
if
he
you
was going.
don't know, that's why it seems crazy to say, but just like the words African, we use those, but those are new terms. You know what I'm saying? Those are new terms. Indian, that's new terms. That's what's so confusing for people. Some of the newest terms that we use is black and white. Those are new
And that was
terms.
into the 16. That's
No,
1685 when
no, that
they
was in like
created that.
no. When you talk about
No,
black
15,
as
15.
people, no. When you talk about black as people, that word was like in the 1800s. So no, man, it's just we don't understand time and how long we've been here, how long we've been doing this, and how long that. Let me get back to a point. When I was talking about geneticists, uh, any
Mm.
credible geneticist would tell you that what we call white skin is only about 20,000 years old. It's only about 20,000 years old. They even know the gene that causes white skin. I got it written down. Next time we're on, I'll have it for you. But they already know the gene that causes the mutation. Um, so when he was writing in the 40s and 50s about uh, Yakub, and and now he took it about 6,000 years, right? Six to
Hmm.
8,000 years ago is when that happened. But
That
I
sounds
mean,
like the time of the Bible.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's pretty accurate. But when you look at the story of Jacob in the Bible, he actually did that with sheep. He made certain colors of sheep, and so that's why they think that's a translation of Jacob, Yakub. You know what I'm saying? Because they had no J's in that day.
Mm. Africa was
My,
colonized by the Mayans. Oh shit! This dude just he can't
I
stop
mean,
dropping bombs.
Mayans is a word too. Everything is a word. There's Mayan uh, uh, ruins in Georgia. You know, I mean, it's a word. It's our people.
So, oh boy. All right. Oh, we're gonna have to.
So rap,
These dudes ain't gonna stop. They gonna do. We're gonna have to wrap this up, fellas.
no doubt.
You make it seem like we need to do a part two of this. Hey, I tell you what. Either one of y'all brothers. Whoa! Did
There's
you say
more.
rest in peace, Bismarcky? Bismarcky
Yeah,
passed?
yeah. While
When?
you were in the islands, when you were in the islands last week, Yeah.
dude. I stayed off of social media and TV too. Oh
Yeah.
man, damn, Bismarcky, the vapors.
No doubt. I'm not saying the minds wasn't the people. They were.
No, no, the
Olmecs,
Mayans were people, but
Olmecs
we,
were
we need
people.
to dig
They tell
deeper.
you that the Mayans disappeared.
Damn, man, Bismarcky passed. That shit fucked me up, man. That's what happened when you take vacations and when you shut down everything. You shut down everything. So, all right, fellas, we're gonna wrap it up today. Hey, appreciate you, Russell, being on. Appreciate you, brother Wesley, for being up, man. Dude, you dropping. You, yeah, tobacco was for. See, he cocaine was found in Egypt, and only cocaine comes from cocoa bees. Only come from actually South America. So
Yeah.
yeah, trade is good. Trade is going on. Trade is good. Hey, but a lot of people won't know that because a lot of people won't open up a book and read. They won't even, dude. Damn, we got to wrap up, man. We're gonna keep going in and going in.
Oh,
So,
let me say this
I
too. Let me say
go
this
ahead.
too. People get a lot of rice from China, right? Rice is
Uh-huh.
not indigenous to China. That's all I'm gonna say.
All
It's
right,
not.
y'all. This is another three-headed monster podcast. I'm brother Brian, brother Jerome. Hey, again. Like I said, I appreciate y'all brothers coming on, and we gonna keep pushing this strong, man. Hey, like I said, we have to know our stuff because people gonna come on and comment like again, brother Wesley. I appreciate you coming on and you dropping these bombs because you dropping knowledge. I appreciate the knowledge that you're doing. We don't need to get in contact with you, man. I like your style. I like the stuff that you bring. And so again, check us out on YouTube. Like again, we got some stuff in the works for you. For more people to get in contact with us or get in more information from us. So again, we giving everybody our opinions. Again, we can only tell you what we know. We don't know everything. I know I don't. I'm still a student in the game, and I'm always willing to learn new things. So again, I appreciate everybody tuning in. People who's going to tune in later, check out our YouTube page. It's on Three Headed Monster Podcast on YouTube. Again, if y'all need to contact us, Three Headed Monster. Shit, I forgot that damn email address. That just let you know
We'll,
I got to get
we'll
back into
post
this
it.
one. Get
We'll
back.
post it on there later. We'll
We'll
post
post
it
it
on
on
the
later.
on the
We're working on
YouTube.
our website, so we're working on our website too. So hopefully the next time we come on, our website will be up and running full speed. And let's build, let's build, let's build, let's build people, indigenous people of America. Let's build and take our rightful throne. The hell, fuck this damn critical race theory. No, we're gonna keep teaching, history. Now, if it's dark, it's dark. But then at the same time, what is dark? Because of them, it's not dark. But let me quit because we keep
Yeah,
talking. Go
you
ahead.
rambling
Get
now.
your, get your last words in.
Now,
Damn, I got
those of
to
you that are on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so whenever we're on, that you'll know. Man, it's always a pleasure to get with my brother, and this is our first week back after vacations. We've probably been away from doing this for about a month, so it feels good to be back, getting back in the saddle. We want to thank the two brothers that brother Russ and brother Wesley that kept blowing up our comments. So keeping it flowing. We appreciate that. Hopefully, we get these brothers on here and we can discuss face to face and build face to face. Hey, till next time.
Peace.
Peace.